Hello.
I'm Dan Rochon, and I am joined with Dilara Wentz, who is a friend of mine and a fantastic real estate agent. Want to learn a little bit more about you, Dilara, share that with the general Facebook peoples. So I'll tell you a little bit about what I know about Dilara, and then you can probably fill in the gaps because you probably know Dilara better than I do. That's okay. That's to be expected. So here's what I know about Dilara. I know her first year in business, she closed 30 transactions. I know that she has a heart to help. I know that she helps a lot of military families and other families as well throughout the Northern Virginia area to buy a home or sell a home or invest in real estate. And I know that you got your license in June of 2018. So I was like, 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago, really. Mm-hmm. And currently you have $8.2 million of pending transactions representing the families that you've been able to help to find a home or sell a home that are preparing for a closing, which is a tremendous amount. That's more than what the average agent does in about 1.5 years at least. So congratulations to that, Dilara. And what did I miss?
That's about it.
All right. Fantastic. So $8.2 million. I want to really dig deep on that. And I want to sort of backtrack before we do so. And you and we had this conversation about 3 or 4 weeks ago. And due to my highly incapable skill set of technology, we had some challenges. That was on me. So anyway, so today I want to, let's start back a few years ago before you got in real estate, and tell us, what were you doing before real estate sales?
So I have worked in customer service. I have been anything from a waitress to a barista to hospitality, and I ended up opening my own photography business when we were stationed in Hawaii, which went really, really well. But the market out here was saturated for it. And in between where my husband was overseas, I also worked in a gym as a gym manager. So selling programs, personal training, and things like that.
And which of those were your favorite?
All of them, really. I mean, being in the service industry was cool because you got tips. So it was kind of like, what are you going to go home with at the end of the day? And then working at the gym was eye-opening experience to the sales world because I'd never actually worked in sales before. And that was a commission-based job as well. So that was
what did you see? What specifically opened your eyes to the sales world in that role?
Well, my dad had been in car sales for over 20 years. And so I kind of got to experience what he went through, like, building relationships with people. And my thing was, when I was selling training, it was very different than what the gym wanted us to sell. Mine was relationship based. Mm-hmm. And they didn't want us to do that. They wanted us to be like, you need this for your life to live kind of thing.
So it was less like concern about what the client or the gym member was interested or needed, and more just like sell.
Exactly.
And you were taking the approach of, what are your goals? What do you need? Was that
Yep.
The disconnect there?
Yeah. And I did really, really well. I mean, I became the manager after only 6 weeks of working there because of how much I was selling. And
sure.
So, but it was a good eye opener.
All right. So then June of 2017, 18.
Yep.
June of 2018, you get your real estate license. Let's take back let's say January, February, March of 2018. What were you doing then? And tell us about your mindset then.
So my husband and I were living paycheck to paycheck. I wasn't working at the time. I had stayed home for a whole year with my son when we moved to Virginia. And we kept fighting over what we were going to buy at the grocery store. And I was over it. I was done. I was like, I'm going to go back to work. I'm over it. So, real estate's something my parents always wanted me to get into. And I just thought, this might be the time. And after talking to a couple of friends, I just decided to dive into it.
Did you have some fear at the time? Was there apprehension?
Yes.
I bet there was.
Well, first of all, I didn't know how much it took to get your license, cash-wise. So I put everything on credit cards, thinking to myself, like, I need to sell something within the first 90 days. Otherwise, this isn't the job for me. At the time, my regional director from the gym had been asking me to go work at a gym here in DC. And, I didn't want to do that because it's a very hefty schedule. So
Okay, so you didn't realize how much it cost to get a license,
Nope.
and then like the association fees, MLS dues, and that type of stuff. About how much was it? Can you give us a ballpark of about how much it was?
Because I gracefully failed 3 tests, I think it came out to be about $2,200 to $2,500
Okay.
total. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that's about a ballpark figure there. And so, okay. So then you get your real estate license. What's next?
I got a coach. So I got a
Okay.
mentor and a coach. I joined Keller Williams and Falls Church, and I just kind of hit the ground running. Really,
Okay.
go ahead.
Mentor and coach. Who was that? Like how was that before you joined Keller Williams, or was that when you joined Keller Williams? Was that a part of Keller Williams?
When I joined Keller Williams, I got a productivity coach and I got a mentor. So I got Eric Quadros as my productivity coach, and then I got Drew Swirsky as my mentor, who we are like two peas in a pod. We're like the same person. So it worked out really well.
All right. They're both fantastic. Okay. So then you got Eric and you got Drew helping you. You hit the ground running. What's next?
So I got my first deal before my license even came in the mail. I was at a friend's barbecue, and this lady walked in and said if we could find anything like this in our price range, we would buy today. And so my ears perked up, and I was like, do you have a real estate agent?
So that was just like a conversation like over by the hot dogs, and you're
by
the cooler, and you're like, hey.
So we were inside the house while dinner was getting ready, and they were walking in along with everyone else, and they just happened to say that. So
your reticular activating system honed in on that, and and you saw the opportunity, and you offered your services to be able to help them. And that was your first closing?
My very first closing, and it was probably the easiest transaction I've ever had. So totally set your
expectations a little bit different from the reality.
I was like, dang, this is super easy. I could do this.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll talk about that here in a second, but I want to sort of stay in this. How long were you licensed? This was a few weeks at this point, month?
So I actually met them a week before my license came in the mail. And then, then we ended up looking at homes when my license came in the mail.
All right, cool. And you mentioned that you learned a lot from Eric and Drew.
Yep.
Can you share with us like one thing that you learned from either of them or both of them?
So really it was about being productive, like not being scared, getting out of my own way, what my negative mindsets were around real estate. Like, did I think it was going to be really hard? And then putting a plan into place as to how I was going to connect with people, because I didn't know anybody here. So so I really got to talking to them about like reaching out to my sphere of influence, so my people on Facebook, and joining Facebook groups, and getting to know people. And so as time went on, I met people in Panera and in Starbucks and things like that. So it really, really helped me to jumpstart my database and getting to know people, getting outside my comfort zone, and actually going and meeting people.
I remember when I got licensed, I was in a similar position where I really didn't have a sphere of influence and had to start from scratch. So and that was a few years ago, but I completely understand like being in that place of like, okay, because you were in Virginia for just a little bit of time, right?
Yeah. Yep. Not even a year.
So you got to really go out and make new relationships, because I mean, how many opportunities are going to show up at the hot dog stand at parties?
Exactly.
All right. So, all right, fantastic. Now, guess what? This is about where we left off on the last show.
Yay! Sounds good.
That's pretty cool. So, all right. So your first transaction, really quickly, what happened next?
So I signed them as buyers after the barbecue the following day, and then took the wife out to see a property on Tuesday, and went under contract on Wednesday, and we were closed 20 days later.
Okay. I get the easy transaction.
Yeah.
Okay. I get that. And I get the way that you're communicating of the sort of like, almost like the stars are aligning, and it just seamless but you're absolutely responsible for the outcome.
Yep.
And so, as they are as well. But like, what do you think you did to make that so easy? Like, just sort of intuitively, right? Now, you don't have the experience. You didn't have really the guidance. So you had the guidance, but you hadn't been with the guidance for long enough to really benefit from that. So
yeah.
How do you think it was so easy for you?
You already know 87% of all real estate agents fail in this business. And you also know it doesn't have to be that way. If you're a real estate agent and you're looking for consistent and predictable income, I invite for you to get your free copy of Real Estate Evolution, the 10-step guide to C.P.I, consistent and predictable income for real estate agents. And you can do so when you visit www.therealestateevolution.com. I'll share with you your book that I authored to show you the way. And it's free. You just have to pay for the shipping. Thanks.
I think obviously having a little bit of a sales background before, and I realized that at the very beginning, I realized that home sales wasn't the same because it was like homes are something people are already looking for.
Yeah.
I'm just assisting them on finding that place and carrying myself with confidence. And if I didn't know something, I went and spoke with my mentor, but I didn't tell them flat out I didn't know it. I was like, let me check on that real quick just to double check, kind of thing or something like that. Just never putting a question mark in their mind about how I'm representing them was what I tried to do.
Okay. So you exuded confidence.
Right.
Even in the face of not knowing the answers. And when you didn't know the answers, you simply said, hey, let me get back to you. And then you got the answers and got back to them.
Yep, exactly.
I wanted to make sure because that's such a freaking easy thing. I mean, I don't want to diminish it, right? But that's such a, it's sort of easy to understand that. Yet I find a lot of agents struggle with that, particularly when they're new.
I think my team leader, Sheila Quadros, helped me a lot with that because when I first joined the office, when we talked, she was like, real estate is not hard. You're literally just, doing it. Yeah. So I tried, she said, don't overthink it. So I really worked on not overthinking the process and, because then you get caught up, you can talk yourself into a deal as quickly as you can talk yourself out of it. So,
I think most agents actually talk themselves out of a deal because when they have the close, they just don't shut up. And
they keep saying something, right? So and stopping and listening was the biggest thing. And that's one thing I learned at the gym was like, listening to people's why they're doing this. So like, why did you show up today for this appointment, to change your life kind of thing, or what's the reasoning? So. Okay,
cool. So then after that, was there a gap between your next transaction or did you have that roll in pretty quickly?
Yeah. So I was sitting at Panera and I was on my laptop and I had asked the guy behind me if I could use the outlet. And he said, oh, yeah, I'm done working anyways. And I said, oh, dang, don't tell me that. I'm about to start. And so then he asked me what I did. And I said, oh, I'm in real estate. And he said, funny story, I'm needing to sell my house. And I was like, what? So, and I thought he was like just trying to make conversation. Yeah. But he called me 2 days later and was like, hey, can you come by the house and take a look? So I took a colleague of mine. And we went and looked and put it on the market 20 days later and sold it in less than 24 hours.
All right. So far, it seems like things are aligning in your career. And so I want to get sort of like between there and here.
Yep.
Well, what I want to learn about sort of in that in-between part is, did you have any struggles?
I did.
Yeah. Some struggles.
Yeah, of course there is. So collecting a pipeline was my struggle, like making sure that there was still business coming in. So I actually turned to Facebook when I noticed that, one, I didn't know enough people, and two, I had a very large community that I could be in touch with, but I, didn't really know how. And when we were moving here, one of the Facebook pages was the best way to get advice from. So I decided to.
Okay, that's a military community?
Yep.
Okay. And so there was a Facebook group,
mm-hmm.
And then, so then in that Facebook group, you were already involved because you were moving here with a lot of advice. How were you able to then, integrate into the group as a real estate agent, as a professional, as a resource?
So it's relatively easy on those pages because people are coming to that page when they're moving into the area. So, I mean, some will just flat out ask, like, does anybody know a real estate agent? And then I just started putting my name out there.
Yeah.
And then the first deal that I had, I asked her if she wouldn't mind recommending me on those pages, when she sees them. And then it just started building from there. So when I closed one, I would ask them, like, hey, if you ever see it on Facebook, if you don't mind recommending me on there, and then so on and so forth. So it really helped me build up, people who were incoming to the area and a pipeline.
Okay, so fantastic, thank you. And so besides that community, that Facebook and Panera and the barbecues, do you have another sort of like common source of business, or is that where the majority comes from, plus referrals?
So my main thing is Facebook. I also obviously large sphere of influence now. So I do we do client events. So we've been doing client events now. So I'll do like a ladies' night and have all the women come out and we'll drink wine together and just talk. So we're trying to do them quarterly now. Obviously, so COVID just happened. So instead of, putting money at a winery or something, which was the plan, we actually paid for all of our clients to have front porch photo sessions done. So now all of our clients have cute little family pictures and post them on Facebook. And so, yeah. So
about how many people are you inviting to the events? How many people show up, that type of thing?
So we usually invite about 30. There's usually, for ladies' nights, there's usually about 10 that show up because, being moms and stuff and late nights.
I got it.
But for like our front porch sessions and we try to invite at least 30 to 50 people. And we always tell them, like, if you'd like to bring a friend that's that would be nice too.
Yeah, particularly a friend that's in the market to buy or sell.
Maybe.
You're a great friend.
Or maybe at some point in time.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay, so then $8.2 million in volume in pending transactions.
Yeah.
Second year, or just the end of your second year of business. How?
It's really about keeping in touch with people. So when COVID started, I checked in on everybody and, our coaches kept saying, make sure you're checking in on your people. Some people are nervous. Some people are bored. Just see what you can do for them. Making relationships through our lenders and stuff and asking them how we can help them also, because it's a give and take, right? We give you one if you have something. And then I've been doubling down on my activities. So really, note cards, calling people. I'm having conversation daily with, past clients and things like that, just asking them what's going on in your world. Or if I find something on Facebook right now, there's a lot of baby announcements going on. So it's a good way to keep in touch with people. So, but yeah.
So you say doubling down. How many phone calls, how many postcards, or is it just sort of what you can get to? Because I know you're dealing a lot of times actually being with the clients. So how do you tell me more about that?
So right now it's been kind of like what I can get to, but for the last week and a half, I've been really purposeful about my schedule. So before 11 o'clock, I'm usually doing activities that I need to be doing. So before I was making only like 2 to 3 phone calls a day. Now I'm making like 5 to 10, and usually I'll be in the car and I'll make, a phone call while I'm driving because I got at least 20 minutes to talk.
5 to 10 in the morning, and then throughout the day when you're driving,
scattered calling people. Yeah. So, and obviously my current clients who are under contract, calling them to make sure because we keep up with them. So 17 people, families of a lot of people. So
you have 17. So the 8.2 is 17.
Yeah, 17 under contract right now.
Wow. How many are buyers and how many are sellers?
3 of them are sellers, and all the rest are buyers.
Okay.
So we've been really, really busy. It's been a difficult market, but we're getting
Yeah.
through it.
So when you're looking at like during the last like 30 days or so, a lot of activity, a lot of work, you're probably working a lot of hours.
Yes. Yeah. I literally asked my husband on Father's Day, I was like, so if I go show property today, would you divorce me? Like, he's like, probably. Like, all right, I won't go out today, I promise.
Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Love you. I got you a cool present.
Yeah, no kidding.
I recently wrote the book, Real Estate Evolution, the 10-step guide to C.P.I, consistent and predictable income for real estate agents. I wrote this book because I have sold real estate since 2007 and developed an immense amount of experience and knowledge. During my journey, I've witnessed hundreds and maybe even thousands of real estate agents fail in this business, and I firmly believe that that's a shame. In Real Estate Evolution, I will show you the exact steps that I have used as a real estate salesperson to sell 1 to 15 homes every single month for the past 129 consecutive months. It took me more than 2 decades to learn the sales and persuasion techniques, and more than 1 decade to master the real estate sales techniques to be able to produce the content that makes up this book. And it took me more than a year to write at a pace of 3 hours every single day. If you're a real estate agent and you're looking for consistent and predictable income in your business, I invite you to get the book, Real Estate Evolution, and you can get that by visiting www.therealestateevolution.com, and I'll even give it to you for free as long as you pay for the postage.
So what are your thoughts on that? I mean, how do you feel about that, or what are you doing to to help with that?
So usually I'm like 100% okay with it. You know, being busy is always a good thing. It's better than the opposite, right?
Yeah.
But what I have come to the conclusion of is, one, I need to hire. So leveraging. So we are in the midst of the hiring process with someone right now. And also it's like a lot of work for not a ton of outcome, actually. So we would have more under contract if there was more inventory on the market. But
so you're writing a lot of offers that are competitive, multiple offer type thing, and
yeah, we've been losing like maybe 2 in order to get one. So that's like 2 weekends where we're out showing property and then not getting anywhere. So, and it's upsetting for me as well as my clients, right? So I'm upset because they're upset, and they're upset because they're losing what they think is their dream home. So,
how many buyers a day? What's the most you've taken out in one day?
Last Saturday, so Saturday before last, I showed 6 different families homes. So I was out from like 9 o'clock in the morning till about 7 at night.
The most I've ever done was 3 families in one day, and that was the day I realized that 2 families in one day was my max.
Yeah. My only problem is I don't know how to say no. And in this market, it's really hard to say no, because if you say no today, the house is gone tomorrow. So it's been a balance. So, but I have found somebody who's willing to help with showings when I do need it. That probably was the day that I could have leveraged.
Sure. Yeah, that's
so for sure.
Okay. So you said that you're in the hiring process. What type of role are you hiring right now?
So we're hiring an in-house transaction coordinator. Okay. So that's our first. And then as my coach says, I need a second admin. And I don't, I'm trying to get into that mindset that I do. So,
yeah. What do you think? What's the cause of your coach suggesting that? Do you have an idea?
Because of our average closed transactions per month right now. So for the last, for the next 3 months, it's going to be a consistent 6 to 7 per month. Yeah. So my biggest struggle is I'm a self-sabotager. Like I'm like, oh, this isn't going to happen next month, And so she'll ask me like, don't you think you could do this every month? And I'm like, I don't think so. And she's like, well, if you had leverage, you probably could. Yeah. So, but that's actually why I have a coach, to walk myself through that, because I can't do it myself. So
I've also found that when you have to, if for some reason one doesn't work out or they leave or whatever the case may be, you don't take the job back.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And I'm having I'm a little nervous right now because my main assistant, my to-be operations manager, she's going on maternity leave. So she'll be gone for 12 weeks, and I'm so excited for her to have a baby, but I'm also terrified because I have, so we did our best at implementing things ahead of time. So she's already got all, my newsletters printed out and stamped and everything. All I got to do is put them in the mail. Social media posts have been scheduled out until September when she comes back. So we've put a lot of stuff into place so that I'm not freaking out about what I need to do.
Did she have to kill herself to do that?
No, she
I'm asking that because as you're sharing that, Dilara, I'm thinking like, wow, like if, like there's a beautiful event that's causing to have a huge amount of preparation for the next 12 weeks so that there's no hiccups. And what's occurring to me is what would happen is even after 12 weeks, if you position yourself so that you're always 12 weeks ahead.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
And that's,
because you're able to do that now without your assistant, crushing herself. And that might be a good thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, that would be a very big positive. We should probably do that.
I don't know, it just occurred to me as you're sharing that with me. It's like, wow, that's possible.
Yeah. Even being like a month ahead would probably be better than, doing it day in, day out kind of thing. But Lexi's been a huge godsend to me. So I'm very excited for her. And, when she comes back, she'll be full time. So I'm thrilled. I'm super excited that I found her.
All right. So if you were giving advice to Dilara 2 years ago, there's a short period of time with an extraordinary amount of experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And so it's not like how much time you've been in the business, in my opinion. It's what did you do with the time that you've been in the business? And what you've done with your time has been tremendous.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so it would be equivalent to maybe if you had 5 years of experience for many other people. So if you were saying to the 2-year younger Dilara some advice, what would you share with her today?
I would probably say to get out of my own way, like know that I can do it and that things do work. Because I think when we start in real estate, we really second guess everything people are telling us to do. But as I've learned, you listen to podcasts after podcasts and they start becoming repetitive because they're doing the same thing. It's just a different person.
Yeah.
So I think just letting myself know that, doing those things will get you to where you want to be. I 100% believe I could have done more production my first year if I would have just gotten out of my own negative mindset of like, oh, this is a fluke, or these people are using me because we're friends, or, those type of things. Because friends won't use you if you suck. So, so I would just say like, keep a positive mindset, keep the motivation, know that you can do it, and just do it.
Okay. So what was getting in your way in that first year was a lot of mindset of, maybe limited thinking. Yeah. Okay. So you would suggest to get to the comfort level of listen. And so you said like there's things on podcasts that you heard that were consistent.
Yeah.
Can you think of one or two things that you've heard that was consistent that is promoted on those podcasts that maybe you didn't do?
I would say no, because I ended up doing most of it. So I mean, the pick up the phone and call people and just have a conversation. I mean, to me, if I was calling somebody who was in Washington State, where I'm from, I was like, why am I calling them for real estate in Virginia? Like, that's dumb, But it turns out that's not dumb because some of my friends have bought in homes, elsewhere. The big eye opener to me was somebody I went to high school with, lived here in Arlington, and I had no idea and ended up buying a condo with somebody.
Ooh.
It wasn't me. And I was like, what the heck, dude? I post on Facebook all the time. I'm in real estate. And he's like, I'm never on Facebook. I'm like, oh, touche. Touche.
How can somebody never be on Facebook? How's that possible?
Right? So, yeah, I think, picking up the phone, have a conversation with somebody, talking to them consistently. I mean, they all do the same processes. And so I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. I'm just here to do my day in and day out activities and make friends and create relationships. And
that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. I wish you much continued success. One last question before we go.
Yep.
Where do you see Dilara 2, 3, 5 years from now?
Oh boy. Well, I created my team, which is the Valiant Group. So this year we're projected to do about 20 million. So I'm hoping, and my goal in 5 years is to have a fully, full team, probably about 8 or 9 people, and to create jobs for other spouses and veterans, and then be doing 100 million.
Yeah. You know what I love about your answer there, and you may or may not be aware of it, you led with helping people's families.
Yeah.
And then there was and then maybe like 100 million or so.
Yeah. Yeah. I always tell people I'm not out here to be a bazillionaire. I just really like what I do. So
yeah. I love it. And that's probably that's one of the reasons for your success is it's not what you receive. I know you're grateful for, and it's an outcome of where you're placing your focus and your time and your efforts, which is just helping other people to achieve their goals, solve their problems. And as a result of that, you have personal success.
Yeah, it makes my heart full. So I'm excited I found real estate. It's really filled a void that I've had for a long time. So.
All right, cool. If someone wants to get in touch with you, how can they do so?
They can call me 425-941-2428. No, I will not get rid of my Washington State number. And or reach out to me on Facebook or email, which is DilaraWentz@kw.com.
All right, say that Dilara Wentz at kw.com, right?
Yep.
And her name's spelled right there in the thing there. All right, Dilara, thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I wish you much continued success. And I hope to be able to continue masterminding with you and see how we can help each other out.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Give us a thumbs up by clicking the like button below. Don't forget to subscribe to Get Rock Solid Coaching Channel and stay ahead of the game.